Happy Wednesday, sixth graders. I miss you guys. I hope you are doing well. Kind of bummed I won't be able to finish the school year with you, but I'm going to send you guys some art lessons every week so you can continue to be creative and have fun with some different art projects. And I know we talked about doing the playground, doing that paint project on the playground, and I'll talk to Mrs. Hartley. Maybe that's something we could do this summer. But anyways, I miss you guys, and I hope you're doing well. We are going to begin with a project that all you need is a pencil and paper. You could also use color pencil, or you could even use crayons if you would like. But we're going to practice shading, which you can do with crayons. The harder you press, the darker the color will be, and the same thing with color pencils. So I'm going to be using a pencil though, so hopefully you guys can see it. You're going to begin with 3 lines. You know, when I sketch, I like to make little short lines. Okay, so we're going to make 2 3D shapes and shade them. So this one is going to be a cube. So you'll connect the bottom, and again, I like to sketch it nice and light. That way, if we mess up, we can erase it. So there's our bottom of it. And then you'll do the same on the top. And then to make your top of your cube, you'll add a point there. So that will be like your 3D cube. Now we're gonna make it look like the light is coming from the top here. So the top of the cube will be light. We could add a little bit of shading to it. The side would be a little bit darker. And when I do my shading, I like to make sure my lines are going all in the same direction. And then this one would be the darkest. It's really hard to do on my clipboard, but I don't have the fancy YouTube cameras to do it above me. I haven't figured all that yet, so maybe some point I'll figure out how to do it an easier way. So I'm going kind of quick. You guys will of course take your time. And that is the edge of the, oh, my dog wants to join us. And that is the edge. So this one is kind of hard to see in this lighting, but you can see the light is coming this way. And here is the lightest, and then a little bit darker, and that's the darkest side. And then you can actually add some shading. He really wants to see you guys. Okay, can you take him downstairs? And then you will add, I'll pause it. Okay, Apollo has left. So what I did with our cube is I continued to add a lot more shading. It really takes some time. It's actually really relaxing. And I just made sure this side was nice and dark and all the way filled in. And then I made sure this one was a little lighter, and that was the lightest. And then when I was done, I went over the lines a little bit just to make them look a little nicer. Then you'll add your shadow from your light coming out this side. So that is your first shape. The second shape, I actually tried this once and it didn't turn out right, so I had to cut it off, and I'm trying again. So you'll begin with a flat oval. And again, I'm sketching, so I'll go nice and light with my pencil. That will help you to prevent some mistakes. So you'll do that, do some lines down as long as you would like your cylinder to be. Sorry, it's hard to do on my clipboard, but there is my cylinder, and then your line on the bottom will match your line up here, so you'll want it rounded to make it look like it's rounded. Okay, so there's our cylinder. So to make it look more 3D, you will add some shading. Now the top, remember that our light is coming from here, so the top is going to stay nice and light. It'll look nice to go over it just a little bit with pencil. And I like to do my lines kind of diagonally like this, but you can really do yours how you would like. I've even seen some techniques where you kind of make swirls, but I like to do diagonal when I'm doing my shading. So the next part you'll do is you're going to shade all along the sides here. So the sides will be the darkest, and then this middle spot will be the lightest, and so that will make it look like it's rounded. So here's the first part of it, but again with my cube it takes some time. So what I do is start with the edge and then kind of go out a little farther, and that way when you go over that edge again it will make it even darker. And then you will go a little farther and farther, and then keep on going over that edge, and it will keep on darkening it. See how it's a little darker there? So I'm going to take a break and do a little, and then I'll show you. Okay, so I have half of it pretty much done. I could add a little more to darken it on the edge. And you can see I went over a little bit, so I would probably either go over it more with my pencil going down, or you can also use an eraser and just erase those lines if they go over. And then I'll show you the other side. So it's going to be the lightest right here. We're going to do the same technique on this side, working our way toward the lightest. So your start on the edge, that's where you want it the darkest. And then you'll keep on working darkest to lightest where you have your glare there on your cube. Okay, I just called that a cube. I meant a cylinder. So as you can see, I did the edge nice and dark and then got lighter towards this way, and I kept on going over the edge a few more times. And then to finish it off, you're gonna lightly go over on the glared light spot. I mean, you could just leave it white, but I think it looks better to have it all colored in. So I would keep on going over this. So it's a little time consuming, but I think it's fun to do. So I'm not going to bore you finishing the whole thing because I think you get the picture. And then you would add your shadow. Of course, I have my cut in my picture, but add your shadow. And then if you wanted to make it look like it was like on a table, you could add a line here too. So that's a little basic sketching lesson. I know we can add a lot to it once we learn these techniques, so I will do something a little more fun and exciting next week. But right now we are doing a photography challenge for the school, and I know I talked about having you guys do some photography work because it's such a fun form of art. So I figured for the 6th graders, I think it'd be cool if you guys do some pictures and send me a couple of your favorites. I was thinking of having them printed, and then maybe we can either display them somewhere at Queens or do something cool with them. So find something in nature that you find beautiful. You might have to get really close or just do it in a way that you think is really interesting or pretty, and send them to me. I'll give you my email address at the end of my video, and I'd love to see them. So have fun, keep being creative. make slime, play with Play-Doh. I'm going to send a Play-Doh recipe. I also saved my dye from my Easter eggs that makes a cool liquid watercolor. And something that I think you guys would especially appreciate is I noticed that like with using charcoal to shade is super fun. Like that would be really nice for this project. But I found that if you take, we had a bonfire, and if you take the burnt wood, of course, a day after your bonfire when it is cooled and you're able to touch it, you can actually use it just like charcoal. It works exactly the same. So maybe you want to create a piece of art like that. You can actually do your shapes with the charcoal. That would be something really cool. So take care, have fun, and I'll see you next week.